What's going on, Eastwood family? Welcome back to Eastwood TV. We are on episode 5, part 2 of our SEL lessons. I'm your host, Mr. Ramsey, and my co-host,
Miss Lena.
Let's get into today's lesson.
Like always, you guys, make sure your ears are listening, your eyes are watching, your voices are quiet, and your body is still.
Make sure you're concentrating the best you can. Use your eyes, ears, and your brain, and always try to ignore those distractions.
So today we're going to continue to talk
about solving problems. We're going to continue our talk from episode or part 1, because this is part 2. We all know problems can happen anywhere. You can be at home, at school, or playing with your friends or cousins. Everything can be going okay, and then all of a sudden, someone gets upset and you have a problem. That's why it's important that we cover the steps you need to take in order to make things better so you can be an excellent problem solver no matter where you are or who you're with.
And last week we mentioned that before even trying to solve any type of problem, you need to make sure that you're calm first, because when you're calm, you can think clearly. And when you think clearly, you can say the problem without blame. You can think of safe and respectful solutions. You can explore all probable outcomes, and then you can choose the most safe, respectful, and responsible thing to do. And here is just a little reminder of how to be calm. Remember, use your signal, whether it's stop, hang on, name that feeling, say what you feel, and then calm down. You can calm down like breathing, like Mr. Ramsey's doing in the picture. And make sure you're calm, and then you can jump into that problem solving.
Steps. In our last episode, we went over the first 2 letters of the problem solving steps. We covered S, say the problem without blaming anyone, and T, think of possible solutions that are safe and respectful. Today, we're going to explain the letters E and P.
All right, guys. So the letter E. So after you say the problem and think of solutions to help you solve it, the next thing you have to consider is the consequence. In other words,
wait, Miss Lena. What do you mean consequences? That sounds like trouble.
Right. Consequence is a big, scary word, but I want you to consider it. So let's dive into it a little bit more.
Okay.
Consequences, the big, scary word, right? Look at us. We're kind of scared. Mr. Ramsey, you're gulping.
Scare that word. So scary.
But let's hear the definition first, because it could be a good and bad thing. So a consequence is what could happen as a result of an action, of something that you do. So it's something. So if you pick a solution, either a good or bad thing is going to happen. Okay. So let's look at an example.
Concentrate a little, man. We'll never be ready for the math test. The square of the hypotenuse equals the sum of the square of the other 2 sides. What is the length of side A? I know not, master. You have failed me for the last time. Oh, come on. We're supposed to be studying.
They don't want to study.
So you can, it's obvious, Mr. Ramsey, what kind of consequences do you think they're going to have for not studying for their test?
Well, first off, they weren't focused and they don't seem prepared at all. I think they're not going to do well on that test. They might even fail that test because they don't know what they're going to be doing. That's a negative consequence for their actions, for not staying focused, for not studying. They're goofing around and playing.
Absolutely. But what if they did study? So what if they were trying, they were focused, they were practicing and learning the things they were supposed to do? What kind of consequences would they have then?
Well, I'm glad you asked. So here are some examples of good consequences that can happen if you or Darwin or Gumball actually chose to study. So let's talk about one, proud of yourself. You can get good grades. You can say, you know what, I put the time in and I got something good out of it. Or your family will be happy and proud of you. You bring home good grades, your parents will say, man, you're a great student. You might even get some money or prizes if you're good. And then we always have your responsible student. You know what? Even if you don't get prizes, even if people don't praise you, You're responsible for your learning, and you want to continue to learn each and every day.
So basically, we're explaining that consequences are choosing to do the right thing. So remember that a consequence is like cause and effect. So if you do something, then this will happen, good or bad. So you have to, when exploring consequences, you have to ask yourself, what could happen if? So you got to look at if it's going to lead me to good things or if it's going to lead me to bad things. So you got to make sure you're focusing on the positive and the negative.
Got it. Got it.
So we're going to
Consequences
practice a little
aren't,
bit more, Mr.
I'm about
Ramsey.
to say consequences don't seem as scary when I know there's a good outcome in the end.
Right? If you're doing the right thing, then you ain't got nothing to worry about.
Yeah, yeah.
So here are my friends, Brianna and Anne. So both want to use the monkey bars, but only one person is allowed at a time. So how can we help them to solve this problem? So I think a good start is that we were able to state the problem without blaming anybody. It says both Brianna and Anne want to use the monkey bars, but only one person is allowed. So these are some of the solutions that they came up with, right?
Let's go over it. One solution could be get off and go back in line, which, okay. Another one is push her down so I can get past. Ooh. And go and play on something else. Okay, so we have three options, three possible solutions, but we need to talk about what could be the consequence of each. So if she gets off and go back in line, she's showing that she can be respectful of someone else and give someone else a turn. Sounds like a good option. Pushing her down, that doesn't sound like a safe one. It sounds like someone could possibly get hurt. And go and play something else. Sounds like a good, safe, respectful thing to do. That, you know what, I'll let someone else play and I can go find something else to do. So, okay, those sound like some good and bad consequences based on what they choose to do.
And normally, Mr. Ramsey, the bad consequences, the ones that are the not so respectful and safe solutions, are the ones that you're making when you're not calm. So they didn't do the first step that we even talked about before the problem solving even begins. You got to be calm first.
Right, right.
So.
Oh, Miss Lena, what did you do to me? See, that leads us to the last step. Pick, like picking your nose. Don't do that. Pick a solution. You obviously want to pick the solution that's going to best solve the problem. The best solution will always consider the other person's feelings and will always be the safe, respectful, and responsible thing to do. Let's pick, not your nose, a solution for Brianna and Anne.
Okay, so if I were Brianna or Anne, I would just go and play with something else. Recess time is precious to me. I want to have fun. I don't want to get in any trouble. So I'm going to go and play with the thousands of other things that I can do on the playground.
So many things that you can choose from, so many different things. And if I was in a situation, I'd get off because I really like the monkey bars and then get back in line and wait for my next turn. You know what? I really enjoy the exercise and, you know, I'll get another turn. I just have to wait a little bit. So that's what I would do. And now we're coming to the close of our lesson. So let me tell you about my final thought. Like I mentioned last time in our last episode, when problems occur, sometimes our strong emotions want us to react without thinking. When we do that, we often make mistakes and people can get hurt. That's why it's important to calm down before you begin to solve any kind of problem. This will help you not only think clearly, but it will help you do the right, safe, respectful, and responsible thing. My Eagles of Eastwood, I know you can be expert problem solvers. So remember the problem solving steps we covered. S, say the problem. T, think of solutions. E, explore consequences. And P, pick a solution. I know they will help you wherever you are, regardless of who you're with. Believe me, my friends, it's a life skill. You will use it forever. So we want to thank you for tuning in. As always, we love that you watch these videos and we want to hear from you. How are they helping you? What have you applied to make you a better Eagle of Eastwood? So until next time, I'm your host, Mr. Ramsey, and my co-host,
Miss Lena.
and we'll see you next time.